Gothic style religious carvings. Interesting, huh? I know you've gone in churches and you've seen all these religious artifacts and these nice carvings, and somehow, since they're placed in the church, it makes them holy. Are you kidding? A lot of that stuff is why you'll end up in hell, because you were told, you're not supposed to have this stuff up in here. We're not supposed to have any of this in here. But this is explaining what happened. And it became illegal in Kenya in 1973 that you cannot kill these elephants for the tusk. By 1970, the elephant population went from 275,000 to 20,000 by 1989. They were hunting these elephants for the tusk because the tusks were worth more than gold. Many of you may not understand this, but I remember as a child in the 70s where my uncle had a chess set that was predominantly elephant ivory. And he had the chess set before the law was enacted, because once the law was enacted and you came upon ivory elephant tusk, you could be arrested. So if you were to come upon elephant tusks now from Africa, it would have to be before the law was enacted, which means that this person was in possession of this before the law came about, and somehow it was transferred to you. But you have to be very careful, because if you're caught with this, you're probably going to have to explain when did you come about it, who you got it from, because remember, they really went after you if you were in possession of this. Okay, let's get back into this, ladies and gentlemen, and let's explain what's going on. So the Bible was referred to as an ivorium. If the children of Israel are referred to as ivory, they read the ivorium. That made Abram an Ivorite. An Ivorite. Genesis 14:13 identifies Abram as an ivory. And you're saying, well, when you look in the King James Bible, you don't see this. No, you don't. And you have to understand, someone such as myself, name's Anthony. Sometimes people will call you Tony. Anthony starts with a vowel. You call me Tony, that starts with a consonant. Are they the same person? In your mind they are. But if you are understanding language, a vowel and this consonant, they're not the same. Totally different. So much of the King James will have names that are in consonants, but the book I'm reading, the names are in vowels. And remember, a vowel is a higher power of language or lettering than it is of the consonants. All right, let's get back to this. Deuteronomy 15:12. In my book, remember, what is my book? Sefer Bible. And if your brother is an ivory man or woman or ivory woman, be sold unto you. Mentions them as ivory. It mentions the children of Israel to be referred to as ivory. Not Jew, not Hebrew, not Christian. Ivory, worth more than gold. When you say Christian, that's just a word. We know that ivory exists, and we know that its value is worth more than gold. Okay, and that you'll find that page 50 in my book. Page 57. Ivorite is ivory in Africa worth more than gold. The Ivorite Bible was translated into it is referred to as Koine Greek. Now, you're saying, Anthony, what does that mean? You know how you always hear, it was translated into Greek, translated into Greek. Well, you're looking at someone and you're saying, well, wait a minute, when you say translate into Greek, what does that mean? Let's ask Google, how many Greek languages are there? Because when you say translate into the Greek, which Greek language? Okay, looks like it heard what I said. There is one official modern Greek language and several regional varieties. Dude, I couldn't even pronounce this. Hellenic languages, Hellenic. Another one is Tsakonian. Another one is Griko. Wow, really, dude? This doesn't stop. Okay, another one is Tsakonian. I think I mentioned that. Another one is going to be Calabrian. Calabrian? Calabrian. Another Greek language is going to be Pontic, Greek, Pontic, Greek. These languages evolved over time from a single language family with historical phrases including Ancient Greek, Koine, and Modern Greek. So when someone comes to you and says, oh, it was translated into the Greek, which Greek language? The problem is with the original Bible, it was translated into Latin so the Church of Rome could control the people because they did not know Latin. It is King James that translated this into English so the people around the world would know it. That's the only thing that separated King James from the rest of them, was that he understood this was knowledge that they had translated in a manner so people could not understand. Okay, Anthony Schollers for NoWomenInHeaven.com. Not trying to confuse you, but I'm trying to explain to you that when you read in your Christian Bible, worth more than gold, you're thinking, oh, the word Christianity or Christian means that. No, no, no. Ivory is worth more than gold. The elephant tusk in Africa. And remember, Israel, Palestine, and all that is in Africa. You can call it Eastern Africa. I know you call it the Middle East, but there's no such thing as the Middle East. There's only 7 continents in the world, or maybe 8, but only 7. And Africa is one. And all of those countries sit in Africa. They call it the Middle East because if you were to say Israel is in Africa, first thing you would do is think of black. So to change this is why they'll say, oh, the Middle East, the Middle East. You have to understand, they're playing a game with language definition, language understanding. And when someone shows you this, hey, this is what this means, you don't have to flip out and run out in the street and do donuts, where you're doing circles yourself. You have to sit back and say, is the knowledge too heavy for me? Maybe I can't handle the knowledge and I need to put the book down. Or maybe I need to obtain more knowledge if I intend to make it to heaven. You cannot get to heaven or not make it and blame it on your minister. It is not his fault. It is your fault. Because you refuse to be like Abraham and seek Yahuwah, who you call God, which is a title. You decided to let someone spoon feed you this knowledge. And then, if it doesn't get you to heaven, you want to get there and play the blame game. You're not going to be able to try to be a victim and make it to heaven. It's not going to make it. I'm sorry. You're going to have to inform yourself. You're going to have to be more knowledgeable. You're going to have to read more than just the King James Bible. And you're going to have to probably get out of your comfort zone. Come out of that church. Start seeking this knowledge. But because the knowledge exists. It's Anthony Schollers for No Women in Heaven. Remember, we have hats for sale on our website, NoWomenInHeaven.com. We've got t-shirts, coffee mugs, I don't know where that bumper sticker went, but it's somewhere around here. But this is Anthony Schultz. You be safe and take care. Thank you very much.